Welcome to Hawks fans, your boy Bryce Lewis, back at it again for more Believe in Hawks content. Summer League Game 1 is now complete. Hawks beat the Miami Heat 105-98 in a game that Kobe Bufkin shines. Jacob Toppin, a guy I've told people to keep an eye out for, has another strong performance, and other guys also making impressions from the first game of Summer League. So we're going to go into all that today on Believe in Hawks. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. If you guys enjoy it, definitely subscribe to the channel. We have hit 2,000 subscribers. So I want to give a shout out to everybody who's been supporting the channel since Believe in Hawks has been created. And even before that, with the other content I was doing after that or before that. So definitely want to continue that road to 3,000 now. So hit that subscribe button for sure. Like the video if you enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. Also, for my audio listeners as well, leave a 5-star review on the podcast so more people can hear the podcast as well. So, like I said, guys, all the formalities out the way. Let's go ahead and dive into Summer League action. Hawks winning, like I said, 105-98 over Miami Heat. And this is a game where, again, the Hawks have a very intriguing Summer League team. There's a lot of names that I think a lot of people are looking at. Because sometimes, for some of these teams, you got outside of the 2 draft picks you maybe have, you don't really care about the rest of the team. Or maybe there's a player from last year who's playing. Like I didn't know if Khalil Ware was playing. Did end up playing. Things of that nature. So, but the Hawks had a number of names that people were keeping an eye on. But the biggest name on that list was Kobe Bufkin. First game back, really long time from the shoulder injury. How would he come out? And I think this is the type of game, if you're the Hawks, you wanted to see from a guy like Kobe Bufkin. He had 29 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds in this game, 2 and 9 from 3. So obviously you want to see that improve from the shooting, the long distance perspective, but got to the line 15 times. Well, not 15 times. He had 15 free throw shot attempts and made all 15. So Kobe Bufkin was active in this game, creating fouls, being aggressive with the ball, and exactly what you would expect from a guy in his 3rd year in the NBA. Because the biggest thing that you want to see from a guy like him is show me that you are an NBA player like you should be. And I think Kobe showed that. Now, some people still have their questions, and that's fair. This is only a 1-game sample size. So I'm assuming Kobe's going to play the next game, and we'll see if he finishes out all 4. I know a lot of people would like to see him play in all 4 games just because of the experience and the reps. And that's the biggest thing I've mentioned is just him just getting reps and staying healthy. So maybe that's something that the Hawks can be able to kind of see as the Summer League goes on. He's essentially, you could say, the leader of the Summer League as well. So team. So, I think Kobe really came out and did what he needed to do. You saw some good handle. Maybe he could be a little bit better at finishing at the rim. Like I said, Kobe's not a perfect player by any stretch of the imagination. There's things obviously he needs to work on and improve. That's just part of it. There's a lot of guys who need to improve and work on things, and we understand he's not an exception to that rule. But to see what you saw in the first game is very encouraging if you're the Hawks. And listen, a lot of people are looking at the Hawks bringing in a point guard. The thing about that is the Hawks don't have a lot of money left, and so after some moves that they've made, which I'll get into later in the pod, they only have really 2 roster spots left they need to fill to get the minimum amount of people on the roster going into the year. And I think that they're going to ride with Kobe Bufkin. I just think that they're going to believe in the investment they've made into him. They're going to believe in what they think he can be. And I think too, the biggest thing about that backup point guard spot behind Trey is what type of guard do you need? Do you need a scorer? Do you need a playmaker? Do you need a defender? What is the point guard that you need there? Kobe is a guy who has shown some offensive pop. Obviously, a lot of people like to bring up the Oklahoma City game from last preseason game the Hawks had where he had 30 plus. And then tonight he had 29. So Kobe's shown some offensive pop. He's shown okay, I can put the ball in the basket. Really, for him, if you remember his first year, I think defensively is where he stood out more. Obviously hasn't played. He was a little rusty tonight, but did some good things defensively that you wanted to see. A guy who seems like who will communicate on the floor. And obviously, again, when you do with Summer League teams, these are not the guys that you're going to be playing with going into the season outside of on this team, maybe 4 of these guys, 5 of these guys you may play with at one point in the season. And so Kobe, is just taking leadership, being aggressive, showing the Hawks that if he has to have the ball in his hands, what he can do. I could see some people saying 3 assists, maybe want to see that number up a little bit higher. But like I said, if he can provide offensive pop and some defense and just being able to run the second unit, I think that's all the Hawks really need. And don't forget, Kobe Bufkin was only playing 9, 10 minutes last year, a lot when he was playing. It's not like he's playing 20 minutes a game and you need a certain amount of production. He's having to do a lot in short periods of time just because of, second unit issues last year and then Trae Young. And I'm sure if the Hawks can get more productivity from the second unit, which I think they hope to get this year, that could help lead to Kobe Bufkin's minutes increasing. But I think they're going to ride with the investment, like I've said, they made in Kobe. And after game 1 of the Summer League, it makes sense because they feel like we've seen some good things. He's recovered well. Now let's just continue to see, does he continue this next game? What does Kobe do next game? But like I said, I feel like this game he was much more aggressive, trying to find a shot, trying to look for something, which I think is good to see from him, especially in a situation like this where you are essentially the most experienced guy on this team. So really good stuff from Kobe Bufkin in the first game of action for the Summer League. Let's go into my guy, like I mentioned at the beginning I was watching, Jacob Toppin, man, 19-10. Part of that big run the Hawks made late in the fourth quarter to come back on Miami and win the game just started by Kobe. I think he had 9 straight points. Toppin then came back with 5 of his own. Toppin is a guy, I've said this to you guys on the pod. He just shows me some pop. Like he signed a 2-way deal, as I mentioned in yesterday's episode. And he showed some pop. And he signed the 2-way, and the Hawks like him. And in this game kind of showed you why they like him. He has a nice shot. Like he's a guy who if you look at him and the other 2-way, which I'll mention, Eli, in a couple of minutes, you see the archetype of player. Both wings, both athletic guys. Eli's more of a defensive guy. Jacob's more of an offensive guy. But still, you see the archetype of player they want there. And I think Jacob Toppin, like I said, really impressive. 7-13 from the field. Like I said, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. And I said Kobe plays like this, that changes. But I said Jacob Toppin very much could lead this team in scoring for Summer League. If Kobe plays like he did, then no, he'll be second. But like I've said that because every time, Skyhawks, impressive. The one game with the Hawks, impressive. Yesterday, impressive. Like I'm not seeing anything that's like, And it's funny because I never see people talk about him. Like we're talking about Dier for a good reason because he showed really good defensive promise, and then obviously he had 12 yesterday. But I mean, Jacob Toppin, I feel like has got no love from anybody, and I'm just like, guys, he's been pretty impressive. Like I don't know, maybe it's because he wasn't projected in some people to maybe become an NBA player like that. So you kind of just look at him as a guy, a body. But I mean, the Hawks like him a lot. I've liked him since they signed him. And he continued to show that yesterday. I mean, just a versatile, athletic guy who has really improved his shot since coming out of Kentucky, which was one of the big things coming out of Kentucky that he needed to improve. And I think he did a really good job of that. And so really, really happy with what Jacob Toppin showed us yesterday as well. Let's go into Asa Newell. Rookie gets his first Summer League action. Obviously, he was the big rookie debut for him. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists in the game. You saw some of the defensive promise, good, awareness from him on the floor. I would have liked to see a little bit more pick and roll with him just to kind of see him more in that action. But overall, I think he did a little bit of everything yesterday. Showed a lot of energy, which was just one thing I said that he'll bring is just energy. A lot of energy off the field, off the court. And, just you can see the athleticism from him. And a guy who I'm curious to see how he continues to progress forward during Summer League action. Because like I said, these are the games that we have 4 at least. And then if they make it into the Summer League playoffs and stuff like that, we'll see what he does. But really good. And like I said, he was playing against a decent front line in Miami. Khalil Ware was playing. So wanted to kind of see. Obviously, they may have not played directly a lot in direct matchups. But just in general with what his performance was, I think that he really did a good job for his first game in the pros in the summer league. And just like I said, showing you what you want to see from you. I obviously offensively we know it's a bit of a project. His first shot made was a 3-pointer, which I know some people were talking about. They felt like he was in the corner a lot in the game. I don't know if that's how the Hawks are viewing him as a corner guy. Like I said, right now I don't think that's the best utilization of him if he's in the corner. But I mean, this because it's also summer league. They may be like, hey, summer league is a place where we're like, hey, we want you to take some threes and just kind of get those shots up. And so that could be also what they were doing, putting him in that position, even though he only took 3. But I know some people were saying that. But overall, he was 3 of 9. So offensively, maybe want to see a more efficient game out of him would be one of the big things. More efficient game in game 2. And just continue to play with that same energy and defensive prowess that I think a lot of people like coming out of Georgia. And so be interested to see how he continues to progress through the summer league. Let's talk about Nikola. I feel like I'm going to say his name in Dierstich. I'm probably saying it wrong, so my fault. But before the summer league game yesterday, he actually signed his standard second round deal with the Atlanta Hawks. So a roster spot has been taken by Nikola. He is on the roster this season, which is good for him. Because some people were wondering about his status with the team. I know a lot of people were wondering, could he be the backup point guard to Trae Young? I mean, he's on the team now, and he's listed as a guard forward. So I'll be curious to see how Quinn sees him on the roster, especially with Keaton Wallace still, I think, hasn't signed his restricted free agent tender yet. So he also is a guy who could be back. And if that's the case, then you have 3 point guards behind Trae. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they view Nikola as the point guard on the main NBA roster if he's a combo guard to them, which I could also see as well. They could easily use him as a combo guard because they used him as that tonight. I mean, in the summer league game. But had a kind of up and down game. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 4-10 from the field. Had 8 fouls. You know, summer league as a guard, 8 fouls. That's not great. Struggled defensively, which has been a concern of his. It's just defensively, energy and effort. Somebody had made mention about sometimes his conditioning hasn't been the best either. And that was an issue last year at times. He also seemed like he was playing through a bit of maybe an injury as well. So kind of a mixed bag for him. In the first game, we'll see, what continues on in games 2, 3, and 4 and how he, adjusts his performance. Obviously, again, a super raw player, but you see talent. Like you see talent with him. And so I think the Hawks signing him to that second round contract and him now being on the roster helps them obviously because they, it's not like they can sign a lot of other guys, but I think it allows him to now be in the building with the main guys and kind of work with them. And then, like I said, he can still go to the G League. Like the second round contract does not keep him from going to the G League. So he can still go to the G League. That's probably what I would say he will be still the most this year in the G League system, continuing to work on his game. But biggest things you want to just see is just him improving defensively, defensive positioning also, and just, playing without fouling. That's like, I guess that's what you want to see. And then can he have a more efficient game? Also, he only had 1 assist too. Like I said, he was used as a 2 mainly in this game. So not as much as a point as he was last year in last summer league. So overall though, really good for him to get that standard deal, second round deal for the Hawks. And now he will be part of the roster this season. So good for him. Let's see here. Let's talk about Eli Dier. Like I said, I might be saying his name wrong. My fault. He's impressive. He's a guy who you see the upside. You see why the Hawks liked him. I believe he played for Real Madrid, or I know he was in Spain, I think, last year for sure. Some good energy defensively. I like a lot of people kind of had the same impression. Like, I like this guy. Like, I can see the upside. I can see why the Hawks like him. Like, and then he tacked on 12 points as well yesterday, and 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Impressive guy. Like, I know a lot of people when he signed that 2-way deal, people were like, "Who is this guy? What is this guy?" Et cetera, et cetera. But you can see something here. Like, that's one thing about the Hawks you got to give them credit for through their development and everything. is that they have done a good job of identifying some players with upside, some potential, and fits the archetype of player that they want. And you see it in the summer league how he's playing and how he performs. And so he's a guy, again, 2A. He's here. We'll see, how he continues to grow, how he continues to improve. And he's a guy I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on as summer league continues to go on. So really, really strong stuff from him in the first game. And I think, like I said, a lot of people agreed about how he performed, and it was good. It was good. So I was really happy with what he did. Kobe Johnson, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 and 3 from the field. Made some good plays defensively in this game, which obviously, again, is what his strength is. Jalen's brother. Um, did some good work defensively, which is what, if he's going to be on a team, is going to be why he's on a team. I wouldn't be surprised, even if, he's on the Exhibit 10 deals, so he'll be a training camp guy, but I would not be shocked if he still could potentially end up on the Skyhawks, because they could, obviously he'll see what's out there in the NBA and see who would want him. But I could see them maybe trying to get him on like a G League deal for the team if they really like him a lot. And then obviously it's up to him if he wants to do that or he just wants to try to maybe pursue a 2-way somewhere else. And obviously we'll see if that happens. But no, I just want to give him a mention as well, because he was a guy I told people to keep an eye out for as well. But overall, I think, getting a good win in the first game. Hawks look good. It's the summer league, so it's always going to be a little discombobulated at times, just because it's the summer league. Like it's not the most organized of organized basketball at times, because there's like, you want to showcase every player almost in some way or form, just so that way, everybody's fighting for a job. Everybody's fighting to try to get a team to see them and say, I want him on my squad. And so I think overall, I think there's been a lot of good work done by the Hawks development team. As we've mentioned multiple times on the podcast, they've done a really good job of developing guys, helping guys improving, and just finding guys that has upside that they can rely on and continue to improve as well. So, I think overall, I think the Hawks, like I said, are in a good position. And I think that, from Kobe playing well, Asa showing some good things, Eli doing really good, and, Nikola getting a new contract, Toppin getting the 2-way. Hawks kind of obviously have their nucleus and formula right now together as a team. So overall, I'm really happy with what we're seeing from them. And obviously the Hawks also, the team came out supporting. Obviously, the Summer League's always famous for guys on the main NBA roster coming out, supporting the Summer League team, watching some basketball, being there for them, enjoying it, which, I love it. Dyson was out there. Jalen was out there. Keaton was out there. Mo Gay. I might say Vucevic. Vic Krejci was out there, and Onyeka Okongwu was out there. So obviously, they're out there supporting their teammates, supporting their guys. And it's always good to see that type of team bonding, team chemistry. I'm sure somebody gonna be like, "Where's Trae Young?" Like, listen, Trae Young said missed a game before and came later in summer league. I think we'll be fine, guys. But yeah, so really, really, like I said, really good stuff. Really good stuff from a lot of the players today, and really excited to kind of see how the Hawks continue to move forward in the summer league action. And I'm excited to see the players, like I've mentioned that, how they continue to progress and what other things do they show as it continues to move forward. So let me see. I'm kind of pull up real quick the next game that they have real quick. So hang with me here. Also, I love to hear you guys' thoughts on what y'all thought. Who stood out to you? Who played well to you? Like what would you like to see more of? What would you like to see different? Just, all of those things. Like what are you wanting to see that maybe you didn't see in this game, or maybe you saw a little bit but you want to see more of, and et cetera, et cetera. I'd love to hear that from you guys in the comments down below for sure. So next time Hawks play is going to be Sunday, tomorrow at 3:30 against the Suns. That'll be on NBA TV, ESPN Plus, and then they play again on Monday at 4:30 against the Houston Rockets, and then they wrap up their 4-game set next Thursday against Memphis. So those are the next 3 games coming up for the Hawks in the Summer League. So obviously we'll be tuned in to see how that continues to look as we move forward on. So overall, like I said, I think everybody's pretty happy with the performances of the Summer League guys. And we're going to continue to keep an eye on that here on Believe in Hawks for sure. But I think that's about it for the podcast today, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another Believe in Hawks. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment down below. Audio listeners, please leave a 5-star rating on the podcast. I appreciate you guys for sure. Like I said, we hit 2,000 subscribers, so really happy about that. So let's just go ahead, keep it moving on. And yeah, and also follow me on Twitter at Brycey_2K to keep up with my takes and analysis and thoughts on the games and other news that comes with the Hawks as well. So I believe that is all for me. It is your boy Bryce Lewis, and we will see you next time.